So I ended up moving to Detroit because I got a video editing job. And then in Detroit winter, that company ended up closing down. And then I ended up crashing my van into a tree at like 45 miles an hour. I went back to Arizona for like a couple weeks. And then I ended up taking everything I owned and stripping everything away so that I only lived in a black backpack, and everything I owned fit in this black backpack that I had. And I bought a one-way ticket to Guatemala City with no plan at all. Now, the reason Guatemala is because the founder and CEO of the company I worked in Austin that Praxis got me, that company, he was from Guatemala. And I always knew I wanted to travel internationally. And I just remembered from like 2 years, or like a year earlier, he was like, you must go at some point. And I was like, well, I guess this is where I start. And so then I'm 18. And I'm 18 and I land in Guatemala City. I got to Guatemala City and I ended up just going to this hostel. And over the course of the next, I lived in Guatemala like months. And I ended up going and having all kinds of adventures, as you can imagine. I hiked a volcano and I watched a volcano erupt. In these hostels, I met so many people. Like my very first night there were these 4 girls that were all like 18 and 19. They were all deaf, no hearing at all, and mute. And they were traveling through Central America together, using their phones to bring it up and show like the taxi drivers. Young girls from America. They weren't going to college. Crazy. And I met so many people like that. I have so many treasured friends. And I ended up moving to this hostel, and it was like a hotel. It was called Utopia Sanctuary. And it's a place that's on a cacao farm. So it's where they grow chocolate.
Yeah.
And I literally ended up living there for like 3 months. And the arrangement is, and anyone can do this. If you go to workaway.info, it's Workaway. It's Workaway. It's a company. People who own hostels, schools, restaurants in other countries will say, hey, come and do work for us and we'll give you free room and board. So I lived there for 3 months working at this like hostel, like behind the bar, and like making beds and and I gave chocolate tours on the cacao farm. And then they gave me, I got to stay there for free. And during that 3 months, I was 7 hours on a dirt road from anything. We had like you had to walk up a hill for like half a mile to get to Wi-Fi. I never used it. I just lived in the jungle for like months and just ate chocolate all the time because we made it. Like, I made it raw. And so that's important too, because you asked about the relationships. While I was there, the other volunteers that were there and these old Mayan ladies that like were in their kitchen, and all the different travelers that would come and go. I remember sitting there thinking like, part of me thinks I might be missing out on like college experience, but like, this is probably better. Like I'm sitting there and I'm meeting new people because it's travel. So these backpackers are coming in and out and in and out and in and out for people who don't know how like backpacking works. And like, I met so many people, and I was younger than most travelers. And so like, I always wanted like romance and things. I never had anything, but I did make out with one Italian girl in the hostel once. It was incredible. It was awesome. And so like, because even people are wanting that out of college. Like, how am I going to date? How am I going to do romantic things and stuff? Like, I totally was having because they were moving around so much. I didn't have any like long-term things while traveling, but I did have like really meaningful interactions with people that I could be romantically interested in if it was longer term. Like, I had that experience too.